SNwadiei, family. I'm SNwadiei. I'm Hibiscus. And you guys already know what it stands for. And some of you are also Hibiscus. As long as you know what it stands for and you're a member of the family and y'all know who that is, you are also Hibiscus. But guys, how y'all doing today? As y'all can see, I'm in my backyard garden in Galveston, Texas. You hear me? My birds, they're singing for y'all. I feel like I'm St. Francis of Assisi or something, that I have all these natural components that show up because they were already here, but I was not aware of them before I started recording. If you hear them, you may think that you're in the motherland right now, and that's a good thing, because we need to be able to move past time and space and be able to be where we need to be, where it counts. And here, y'all, and here, we are beings of light and sound. We are spirit beings having a human experience. When I create these videos, the storytelling ones, yes, I do look at other people's videos. Yes, I do write notes. Yes, I do have lots of stories inside of my head. But when I come out here, I'm inspired by our ancestors. I'm inspired by nature itself. I study my garden. I was looking around, y'all, and I was seeing how when you plant seeds, you never know which ones are gonna take. So you plant lots of seeds if you're a seed planter like me. The plants have to declare who they are, or you don't know. When a plant is starting to grow, you're wondering, are you okra? Are you watermelon? Because you know, lots of green things look alike at first, because of all the different variations, you know, of this, whatever you want to call it, different varieties, you know. So anyway, I was looking at the okras and I was looking at the chocolate mint, and I was saying, wow, the chocolate mint, it's like not only reaching for the sky, like the sky is the limit, but it's like reaching outside literally of the box. I'm gonna show y'all in a minute what I'm talking about when I turn this camera around. But guys, it's going beyond its limits that I set for it by putting it in a raised flower bed. And you know, that's the same thing that we have with limits and geographical locations. I've heard people say, I'm of Ghanaian descent, I'm of Nigerian descent, just because they was born in some other place because their parents caught a plane and went there. And I'm like, what? What does that really mean? Do they not know that they're copying off of people who are descendants of Africans that were enslaved and taken away? And because they don't know exactly where in the motherland they came from, they say of African descent. It's not supposed to be something complimentary, guys. It's supposed to be something that's a question mark. You know, a question mark in a statement. Then I'm of African descent. Because I can look in the mirror and I can see that I look like a continental African. But where? Thank the Most High for DNA tests. Yeah, that's what I think. Don't matter what you think. I'm talking about me right now, guys. Because of my various DNA tests, I know I can say with positivity, yes, lots of my ancestors came from Nigeria. Lots of them came from Ghana. A good amount of them came from the Gambia. And their DNA is still being shown in Sierra Leone and Liberia. And I can even trace ancestry by name, with my grandmother being Cora. And it taking me to the Cora family in the Gambia, y'all. We have to think before we identify. We have to declare ourselves, pretty much like the seeds in the ground. That seed is going to tell me, I'm okra. I'm okra here. I'm a hibiscus. I'm a watermelon. You know? Doesn't matter where it's planted. It's going to be what it always was. And yeah, you can change the way a plant is by making it a hybrid, by mixing it with another type plant, but it's still going to carry the genetic material from the mother plant. So we're going to always have our mother African lineage. And when you take something away by force, it is not the same thing as somebody who voluntarily, not even thinking about it, because of the miseducation too. Like I said in my previous video, most of the people that I know don't know anything about colonization, because I didn't until I started studying last year about what I thought was merely collectibles about slavery that I bought in Nigeria many years ago, and come to find out that those brass sculptures were about colonization, not enslavement, because you could tell from their overseers with the guns and the hats that they were wearing that they were actually being forced into working for free by these poor, miseducated fellows that were indoctrinated into the Queen's Army in Nigeria doing colonization and thinking they was doing something good and not identifying with their fellows, brothers and sisters, walking around in suits with no shoes, thinking that they was God's gift to creation. But anyway, guys, we're not going to blame miseducated people, because even on this side of the fence, y'all, we was only like maybe 5% of the Africans taken away. That's it. And lots of times us in the United States, the / African Americans, are blamed or given credit for doing so much change in this geographical location and in the world. Yes, we've done some stuff, but we didn't do everything. Almost 50% of the population on the African continent was taken away during the Ma'afa. I didn't find that out until maybe last year during the COVID time when we were stuck in isolation here. I was not aware that such a big majority of the people taken away. 50%, guys, that's a lot. That's a lot. And it was all because of divide and conquer, that we didn't see each other as the same people because of tribalism. And we didn't see that our true enemy came from outside. In fact, some of us thought that they were close to God because we was taught that the God that they spoke about looked like them. And of course, if it looked like them, they must be God's chosen people. But anyway, I'm not going to digress into a religious debate, but I'm just saying, y'all, we need to research, not only our beginnings, but what happened to us afterwards too, and what's happening to us right now. We are one people, guys, one people. Now I'm going to turn this camera around and show y'all a little bit about my garden, how it's growing, the update, and I got something else I got to say. All of y'all know this is my fig tree that's been growing for a long time. I planted it as just a little tiny tree from the nursery. It has not given me figs yet, but I think this year may be the year, y'all, because I see some figs off it now. Yeah, I see figs. So hopefully this will be the year that these figs will grow. Not just promise growth, but actually grow. See where my fingers are? It's hope for tomorrow of figs. So hopefully so, guys. Hopefully they turn into some fresh, sweet figs while I'm still here to enjoy them. Because yes, I'm still planning on going back to the Gambia. I just have to go to my cousin's wedding first. This is my green onion. I'll eventually harvest it and replant the bottom. It lived through the big freeze. And this is my lemongrass. It survived the freeze outside because I left it on its own. This is my hibiscus. It survived the freeze, but yes, I did take it inside the house for all that was worth. And you know, it kept blooming inside of the house. So even though I thought it was cold for me, it was good for my plant. The plant thought it was warm enough to keep blooming. So anyway, my banana trees. This is my dwarf banana trees. I brought them inside during the freeze. And starting from this plant, this one, this is my bananas that grew naturally from the previous neighbor yard. I didn't know banana trees grew by the roots, but apparently they do. So the root system came from under the tree. I have 2 banana trees that apparently died, or looked like they died anyway. And then they bloomed more banana trees next to it, and they're giving it nourishment. So I like the way the banana trees think, or not think, however they're set up. That they nourish their offspring with their own bodies even. Here's the arugula. It lived through the freeze because I didn't do anything, guys. I just pretty much forgot it was here. And it survived. I tore the leaves off afterwards and left the root system, and it grew back. I've eaten salads from it. And this is my elephant ears. I thought they had died because the freeze seemed like killed them. But guys, they're back. And they're not the initial ones, because the initial ones was growing in inside of a brick. And these are away from that area. They're nowhere near that area. So it's the root system that survived the freeze. This is another hibiscus. It's called Cajun Hibiscus. Pretty much like the other one, called Cajun Hibiscus. It's got little buds on it. So it have flowers again soon. Yeah, this the little buds here. That's the buds. And I move my finger because sometimes I don't know really where the camera is angling. But when I use my finger, then I know specifically where that camera is pointing. But this is my new fig tree that was planted after COVID started. Came in the mail in a box. So it was in shock last year. This year it's doing well. Didn't even cover it during the freeze, and it survived, y'all. And thriving. I don't know if this is a bitter leaf or not. I do not know. All I know is it looks like the bitter leaf that was here last year. So I'm assuming it's bitter leaf, but it may not be. But it's something growing. Then my rose bush, it survived. I didn't cover it up or anything. It's planted inside of a recycled tire. I gave it some good soil last year. And I actually put a lot of, let's say, organic material inside of the tire to fill it up so I wouldn't use so much earth. And it worked as a natural fertilizer for this bush. Now this is my raised garden bed. It really is not that big, but it projects to be on video. This is probably one of my herbs, and I don't really know which one yet until it declares itself. Right now it's in a plant stage where it's flowering. And this is marigolds, because I know it's showing the beginning of a marigold. So I would assume that these are marigolds, but nothing that's swearing to. Now you see, this is the chocolate mint I was talking about. It's growing up. It's growing up. Plus, it's growing out. It's reaching out. Right here, it's growing up. Right here, voluntarily, it's growing out because it's trying to get more space. Yeah, trying to get more space. And it's trying to get more sunlight. It's fighting with the other plants that's in that box. Same thing with the boysenberries, growing out. This one, I don't know what it is, but it's growing, y'all. We'll see when it shows its fruit. This is a herb. I know that's what it's called from the nursery, herb bush, and I used it for flavoring my food last year. Now this over here, it's a chocolate mint again. I did not plant this chocolate mint here, so that meant that the chocolate mint is bringing itself all the way through the garden, either by seeds coming from it, flowers coming from it, or the root system. But it wants to expand itself, and so it is. Because the ones I planted actually are way over here. And now they're going further. They're right over here and reached all the way over here. That's a good ways when you're talking about a small garden. And now the boysenberries came in a box last year. They were in shock also. They didn't even look like this last year. Now, guys, they're showing what they are. There's the boysenberries. When they get a little bit redder or purple or whatever, I will start washing them and eating them. And there's the marigold flower I was talking about. You actually can eat them. They're healthy to eat, and you can actually make tea from them too. Now this is potato leaves from my Okinawa sweet potato. I did not plant them here, but they grow by a root system, and they are here. I don't know if they're inside of the garden or the side of the garden, but they want to be here, so they are. This is my boysenberry, marigolds, boysenberries, Okinawa sweet potatoes. These are my strawberries down here, and you see the strawberries started off low. They started off low. This is boysenberry right here, but the strawberries started off low, and they're reaching for the sun light too, so they are growing tall this year. Some of them are low, but they're growing tall because they're in competition with the other things in this garden, and they're fighting for space and sunlight. So only the survivors will be in this garden, because I really didn't do much to this garden this year besides just plant a few okra seeds. And I don't know yet if the okra seeds are growing, because they have not declared themselves yet. They actually have to grow past everything else and go toward the sun to survive. Okay, this is a food garden. Okay, y'all, we was discontinued because of one of those Amber Alert, so I had to cut it off because y'all could not hear me because of the Amber Alert. I guess I should have cut off the Wi-Fi component of this camera. I forgot. This phone, I don't know what this is because it has not declared itself yet. But y'all see how much Okinawa sweet potatoes I have all the way to the back there. And I only had 3 plants last year that I actually did harvest from. Didn't do anything to the ground, and now they're spreading everywhere. I did not replant them, y'all. I did not dig up the ground. But see, Okinawa sweet potatoes. So it should be a harvest available also of Okinawa sweet potatoes. Well, guys, I guess I understand another reason now for terms like I declare or I do declare. Maybe that person subliminally didn't understand, but it's true. By your behaviors, you declare. And when you're at home, whether you know it or not, your parents are declaring by the cultural aspects that they're sharing with you, whether they're sharing their language or their culture with you. I know that African retentions, they're a real thing. And you didn't have to grow up Gullah Geechee to have a lot of African retentions. Like I said, my grandmother's name, Cora, is one of the retentions. And even if we genetically are not direct descendants of the Cora family that I'm adopted into, yes, spiritually we are, because we carry that name. That is an old name in the Gambia. It's not a name somebody just made up, Johnny come lately. It's one that's been there for a while, guys. It's been there. Like they say, been here. So anyway, guys, all I can say is we have to start thinking about who we do declare and quit being in denial of who we are. We are what our parents are. I claim my daddy was Gullah Geechee because one of my cousins is like 94% African, and neither one of his parents got on a plane and came here. He's related to me on my dad's side. And my son, Ashadu, he's like 97% African, and his dad's 100% Nigerian, you know? So we carry in our genetics information that says where we came from, and a lot of times of who we are related to, depending on if the other people did a DNA test too. So I like that, you know, I like it. If it wasn't for that testing, I wouldn't know my cousins on my dad's side right now. And they cool people for the most part. Not saying 100% of them, but 100% of everybody is not perfect. You know what I mean? But just knowing, that it's not a question mark anymore. That's a good thing, y'all. And I know today somebody asked me, one of my Facebook friends, they asked me about my family in Isaluku. They said, "You're from Isaluku. How's your family over there?" They were also a Nigerian according to their name, and they were male, so I would assume that they was Nigerian. Because as females, our names sometimes say who we were married to. Because I'm old school, y'all. I got married to SNwadiei. I'm a member of the Wives of Onwanya, meaning the women who married Nwadiei men. Yeah, I'm an official member. I was in the Isaluku Association of North America because they asked me to become one of the members. I'm a member of one of the Facebook groups for people from Isaluku because they invited me, guys. And I said, yeah, So that's how I got to be a part of those organizations. I am a woman of the people because that's who the people see me as. Like I said, I cannot say that people treat me as a foreigner or some other name that people consider derogatory, meaning foreigner or whatever. Most of the times they ask me about my mama and my daddy because they think I just got off a plane and that I voluntarily came to the Americas because of how I behave. It's my actions that make people think of who I am. I remember somebody called themselves insulting me because of how I dressed. Talking about, just because you wear a lot of African stuff and this and that, you think you this or that. And I just blocked them, y'all. I just blocked them. They was on YouTube. I just blocked them. I'm like, I don't know if they was trying to be sexist or if they was just hating because they was jealous because they couldn't trace their ancestry back to the motherland because they was afraid to take a DNA test. It's like from the moment we're born, we're sharing our DNA with people. Most people have had immunizations in this country. They've had blood tests in this country. Everything. So it's not like folks don't know who you are already. But it's to know who you are yourself that matters. So anyway, I am who I am no matter what I wear. Today, y'all, I'm just wearing some plain old earrings that I got at Marigolds, who is one of my friends from Guinea. He's from Guinea Conakry. He owns this Marigolds store on the Strand. It's an African store that you can buy all things African, from clothes to drums, etc. So yeah, that's where I got the earrings. And then necklace, same difference. I don't even know what part of Africa these earrings, this necklace is supposed to be from, and a bracelet that goes with it. I don't know, y'all. My head cover just say from the Gambia, the fabric from the batik factory. And I just wrapped it on my head. My shades, regular shades from the eye doctor. This t-shirt came from a regular old store here. But it has what? Palm trees on it. But I bought it here, y'all. It's I like palm trees because I'm a BOI, born on the island. And it just so happens that there's lots of palm trees in the motherland too. So yeah, we have similarities whether you're here or in the motherland. But anyway, guys, I do think we need to study our history on who we were before the Ma'afa, who we were before colonization, and we have to study how we became who we are right now, on how we think of ourselves as less than because of maybe a name we carry, because you don't understand that name. Then instead of being proud of a name, that you shame of a name, and that you would go and change your name to the name of an oppressor or the name, a reactionary name after slavery happened. That's sad. It's sad, y'all. Because I think we all should be proud of however we acquired our names and be able to tell the story. Whether we come into our families of origin by birth into it, whether we adopted into it, voluntary adoption or involuntary adoption, it's just part of our story, y'all. That's all, just part of our story. And we should not let somebody's negative ideas of who we are and what is in a name or anything else dictate how we feel about ourselves. I personally refuse to let another person dictate how I feel about myself. That is not going to happen, guys. Maybe once upon a time, but not anymore. I remember when I didn't used to like my last name, Sam. Number one, it wasn't my daddy's name. It was my mama's daddy's name. And people used to call me that and used to make me feel bad because it's like, that's a boy's name. Sam is a boy's name. Because back in the day, you know, people wouldn't name them boys' girls' name and girls' boys' names, or what could be considered okay for both sexes, whatever. I'm 6'8", y'all, so that's just the way it was back then. But as I started studying with the Hebrew Israelites, and I found out that Sam was short for Samuel, and that the female version was Shmuel or Shemela, and it meant taught by God, God listens, or taught by Yah, Yah listens. I accepted that name, I embraced that name, and I love that name. So when my brothers and sisters call me that name, I'll answer it. And any of the other names that I have acquired in my lifetime, whether it's from the Gambia with Stephanie Fali Korah, meaning granddaughter of Korah, and Fali Korah being the oldest Korah in that area in their clan. Name given to me by the elders because I asked them to give me a name that meant like that, and they were so gracious to give me what I asked for. And I knowing in my mind that it's about Korah Sam, my grandmother, so granddaughter of Korah, because that's how I got to the Gambia in the first place. And how I became Sefo Hena Kua Mansa in the Gambia, in Ghana. And knowing that I have so much Ghana DNA in me, it's amazing. And I know my mama named me Stephanie, meaning crown. She never knew I was going to be crowned in Ghana and installed in Ghana. She didn't even know where Ghana was. She had never heard of Ghana. So anyway, we're all very complex beings. We need to study more, learn who we are, understand that we're part of a bigger picture, learning about our purpose, and then accepting the purpose if you want, because everything is about choice. Free will is real. Free will is real, and it applies to everybody. So even that means you. Yeah, you. Free will is for everybody. So you have to decide who you are, declare who you are, and be proud to say, not I'm a whatever descent, when you know quite well you're not a descendant of the Ma'afa, that your ancestors was never enslaved, that you have no reason to call yourself of whatever descent, that you know good and well if your parents are from there, so are you. If you can get in a plane and go home to your people, that's what you are. Identifying for the group of people who look nothing like you, it's confusing for your mentality, guys. You shouldn't have to feel like you're not good enough because you're in a class of people and you're a minority. Just think that you're accepting a minority report when you could get on a plane and go back home with your people and get the majority report, that you're doing voluntary enslavement of your mind. We have to free ourselves. Nobody but us can free ourselves of mental slavery. Our brother Bob Marley said that a long time ago. And Peter Tosh, talking about as long as you're a black man, you're an African man. And I hope I said the right name, y'all. If I said the wrong name, y'all let me know. Because I know I've been listening for a long time to Peter Tosh and Bob Marley and lots of other people. But anyways, we have to learn that we are one people if we're going to ever have power to change the paradigm. If we want to build Africa to be a strong Africa, not just for this generation, but for the next and the next and the next. Exodus movement of the people begins with me, you, and whoever else that wants to be the you. Nobody can make anybody go anywhere or do anything. But I don't see how you can complain about something if you're not the answer. You have to be the answer to the problem that you see. You cannot make anybody else be the answer to that problem. But as part of a concentric circle, there's different ways that you can become part of the solution. So study that, y'all, the concentric circle. But anyway, guys, until next time, peace, power to the people. And I'm out, y'all. Bye.